admit you love me, and so how am I ever to know? You only tell me, perhaps, perhaps, perhaps. A million times I ask you, and then I ask you over again. You only answer, perhaps, perhaps, perhaps. If you can make your mind up, we'll never get started. And I don't want to wind up being parted, broken hearted. So if you really love me, say yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Linda Odetto, and I am here to bring you the Visionary Woman of Tarot here on KSVY 91.3 FM. The phone number is 933-9133, and we're going to get right into it, huh, Christine?
All right.
Are we going to bring you up? Oh, I am not hearing you. Am I gone?
You can, yeah.
Sorry, everyone. I did not have my headphones on. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, so we already have a caller on the line. This is great.
So I'm ready.
All right, let's bring the caller on here. Hello, caller. What is your name?
Oh, do I have to give my name?
You don't.
You
Just
can make one up.
Make one up.
My name is Sarah.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, so you got a question for me?
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering if you could turn the cards and see where you see me moving.
Ah, okay. You know, that's such a funny thing because I think so many people are thinking about that right now. But let's see what the cards say for you. So, as much as it's, might not be the thing that you want to hear, you might be in a transition period. So I think you're going to go off to a spot and try to be there for just a little while. And then eventually, so it almost feels like going to family that you're not crazy about, or like a location you're not crazy about, but you're able to prepare a better leap, So that's what it feels like. It feels familiar. It doesn't feel new. And it feels like, oh, I can't believe I have to kind of, maybe you're hanging out with family or something like that. Maybe it's stuff that you have to unpack from last time. So that's what it feels like to me. But I think that it's a redefining moment for you where you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to leave this place in a way that's good for me. Does that make sense to you?
A little
Are you
bit.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like, it might not be your first choice for awesome independence and that kind of thing. But it also feels like you're like, you know what? I know what I want. And I just have to build up more or save or just organize myself better. So it feels like 3 to 6 months, you might just be somewhere not where you are now, somewhere different, but I think that's where you're going to end up.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, don't get your expectations all expecting yourself to come up with some brilliant plan. You might need to take just a couple steps to kind of invest in the best. And then, when it comes to where are you going to invest in the best, it feels to me like it's by water. And so it feels like a really kind of a fun place. So it doesn't necessarily mean a vacation place, but aren't all the fun the fun in the sun places, vacation places.
Okay.
So
So
it feels
you
like
see the West Coast?
No, actually. I don't. I see more East Coast, beachy kind of stuff. Yep. So that's exciting.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, caller. Well,
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah, bringing it first thing. She's getting ready to go. Well,
Yeah.
A lot of people are moving right now.
It is. Well, I mean, you know, we talked about this briefly once before, but it's like if you're renting or, you know, the overhead, you know, the cost of living around here is just really hard, especially if you're young. And it's like you just got to rethink it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you know, you can get, you're in Indiana, but you can get a house for like a really good price. You know?
Yeah, you almost have to be ready to make that leap. I recently had a friend that she moved out of town and said, I'm buying something. I don't care. I'm just going to make it happen. And she did. And she's just kicking butt over there.
Yeah, because, you know, there are things where you say, well, you know, I just need a home base to like, you know, cultivate some success as opposed to chasing it, you know. It's a nicer thought. It's nicer on the body. It's nicer on the nerves, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's scary to leave your family and friends, though. Like, leave them behind. But with the internet and everything, you can see people.
True. But at the same time, you're assuming that that's kind of where things are. You know, I think that the smaller percentage of people actually stay where they've been. And I think the majority of people actually have moved before, you know, or they're like more inclined to do it as much as it might stink. They're actually not in their own hometown.
Yeah. Yeah. I know there's not very many of us left of the local Sonoma.
I know a lot of you guys, you know, and it's like hanging on. And then they're just like, well, you know what? This came up and it's really cool. And they just kind of jump on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've hopped there and back. You know.
I grew up on the coast, so, you know, I'm not at Old Sonoma. I've been here about 14 years. So I don't consider myself, you know, kind of real. I don't. It's just one of those things. I'm always from New York. You know what I mean? It's like you just can't take that out, you know?
Right. So let's introduce you a little bit more. We had a caller on the line first thing. So if you want to call in and get a reading from Christine, you just need to call 933-9133, and that's a 707 area code. So 707-933-9133. Give us a call or give Christine a call, and we'll get you on this show, Visionary Woman Tarot. Well, you don't have to be a woman to call, though, because she's the woman. She's the one who's telling us what's going on.
That's right. So just in case you don't know who I am, I own the Tarot Art Tattoo Gallery on Highway 12 in Sonoma. I do daily live readings on my Instagram, so you get to kind of like peek and see how I do things, and you can reach me there at #VisionaryWomanTarot. But now I am making myself accessible. So you guys can just call in for a reading, 707-933-9133.
That's
Woohoo.
Fantastic. I mean, this is a good opportunity for you to try something new too, if you've never done tarot before, you know.
Super mainstream now, you know. Everybody needs to kind of honor the little witch inside them, you know, and this very well could be a way to do that.
Yeah, or warlock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. So tell me, okay. I don't know what I should ask something. I'm thinking maybe we should.
You can. I mean, it's like, okay, well, if you know, just to ask about how my day goes, I do readings over the phone, via Zoom, in person at my shop. And my reading room is surrounded with all the lovely books, all the magical things, all my paintings, right? Because I'm painting my own tarot deck. And I present at national conferences. That's cool. So, that's StarCon in Florida. That's the Northwest Tarot Symposium in Portland, and the Bay Area Tarot Symposium in San Francisco. It's not happening anymore, but So, I've presented at all these conferences, and I'm going to do more next year because the conferences are on now, 2022. They're like, okay, we're not going to be virtual. Let's go. Let's meet up.
So great. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
Can you do a reading to see how long COVID's going to last?
Oh, well.
Or where we're going from here?
Yeah. Isn't that the weirdest thing? I mean, it's hard. I will see what it says, damn it, because it's really pretty upsetting when you think about it. I don't think anybody's really figured out a right way to handle it, so they're falling over each other. They're falling over themselves. So I think it's going to be a lot longer than we like, unfortunately. It could be more like this, it could be like, it's just going to stay like this for a while.
Yeah, I get that feeling too. What cards have you pulled that are telling you this?
Well, they're telling me, it's about the length depends on the imbalance of power and how they're making the rules. And so it doesn't actually say, oh, well, it's just a couple of years, that kind of thing. I mean, when you research and look into the pandemic of 1918, it lasted, I think, 2 years or something like that. I mean, I forget actually how long it lasted, but it was something like that. It was like, they just have a run that's very natural to Earth, to humans. But if you keep on messing up and not handling things right, people feel really empowered to have their own opinion. And sometimes it's just that their opinion isn't really fact. It's hard to get everybody on the same page with that. So what comes up is government. What comes up is, let's not let this last 7 years, right? Let's let this kind of be faster than that.
Yeah.
That's what it comes.
Let's do that. I agree. It only lasted a year. The influenza pandemic of 1919. 1 to 2 years. Not quite 2. Yeah.
Right. And so when you're thinking about that, you're thinking, well, communication was so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't just call somebody up. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure there are people who had the flu that had no idea what was going on. Like their whole town was getting wiped out, and they didn't know what was happening everywhere.
Sure.
I'm sure that was going down. Nobody knew what was going on from here to there. If you want to call in and get a reading, 707-933-9133. Give us a call. And yeah, I wonder how long the plague lasted. Let's see. How long?
I think that was longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was longer. I think that was different. It feels different to me. But I haven't looked that up in a while.
Yeah. The Black Plague hit Europe in 1347. Wow. That was a long time ago. 1346 to 1353. So yeah, about 7 years.
Yeah, so that's what, this feels to me more in between both of those, between the plague and between the
So 4 or 5 years, is that what the cards are telling you? 4 or 5 years?
It says let's not do 7. Let's do less.
Let's do it. Okay. That makes sense.
Let's, it depends on government and the whole complete imbalance that seems to be falling all over themselves. Like, it's so annoying. Am I right?
What are they going to do? You can't, it seems like an ego trip more than trying to get things done.
Well, there's just, too many cooks in the kitchen, and there's so much misinformation that everybody is getting their information from somewhere different.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. But that's what everything is now. Everything is just crazy. So, you have somebody that might be completely lying, but they're consistent, and that feels safer.
Yeah.
So you want that consistency, but yikes. Let's have good consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're listening to the Visionary Woman Tarot Radio Show, and this happens on Mondays at 4, and you can call in for a tarot reading. The number's 933-9133, but spread the word because friends from anywhere can listen, and that's www.ksvy.org, or that is Get the App, and that's complimentary, and then you can stream it from anywhere and ask me a question. So tell your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't be nervous to call in because it's simple and fun.
You can totally make up a name.
Yeah. And
you don't need to give your real name.
Right. You don't have to give your real name. You could tell us that you're I don't know, Rainbow Sunshine.
Yeah. What was that name I said last week? I forget. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot what we. We'll see. We're gonna take a break here in a second. Do you want to tell everybody where to find you on Instagram?
Okay, follow me on #VisionaryWomanTarot. That's where I'm at.
All right. Let's take a break and we'll be back. Oh, somebody's calling right now, but we're going to take a break, caller. We're going to answer the phone right after the break. All right, we're back, and we do have a caller on, and her name is Sarah too. So let's bring her on. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for calling in.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Do you have a question for me today?
Well, my question's probably a little broad, but it's just what is best for me to be focusing on at this time in my life. I don't have a...
Well, yeah, that could be broad, but that's really, really important because there could be many plates spinning in the air, but what do you focus on? That's very constructive thinking, because it seems like you're pretty tired and you're just like, that's it, kind of not at the end of your rope by any means, but it just feels like you're just, you're tired of treading water. So the idea is, what can I focus on to be productive? And it seems to me that you have an inclination of what is going to get you somewhere, except it gets kind of diluted with, whether it's your environment or just the people around you, because it just feels like it's not like they're bubble bursters. They just don't understand your vision. And so I think that you get a little deflated when they're like, we don't get it, And it just feels to me like, it feels like it's already pretty destined. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to lighten up on the wheel a little bit because you're white knuckling it. It's like you've invested, you've done the work in a lot of places. And so I feel like you have to trust in what you've invested in, because there's like 3 or 4 solid places that you can stand and focus on. And so that means that you use the word no quite a bit when people ask you for stuff and they want to pull your attention away from what you're investing in. And you might think, this isn't really important, but it actually is like vitamins to you, the stuff that nurtures you back. And so I see you saying no quite a bit so you can focus on the things you want to focus on. And so you're asking me, what should I focus on? But I feel like you already have that. You just kind of need to give yourself permission to say, yes, this is important for me to focus on. And say no to other things that tap your energy and your time. So it's one of those things, you've got that stuff sorted out already. You just can't be so generous with all your time.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like, why not? Let's just focus on you. Like, it's not selfish to do that.
I know, but it's kind of hard because I like doing things that help other people.
Which is wonderful. It's really, really great. But it seems like you're a bit tired. So, I would say, tap out just for a little while so you can replenish your reserves, because they seem to be getting pushed.
Yeah.
And I think that the things that you want to focus on, they kind of are tagged like frivolous in your mind. Oh, this is just my hobby, or this is just what I like to do, and that kind of thing, like dismissive a little bit. But actually, that's the stuff that makes you. It's the stuff that, it's like vitamins. So I suggest that you just don't be dismissive about the joy that you get from doing the things you like to do.
Yeah, like painting. I keep thinking, why am I painting?
Yeah, you know what? The first thing to ruin is, to think, well, I'm not going to sell this, or nobody's going to buy this, or something like that. It's not practical. It's like, if it balances out your energy and mind, makes you happy, then that's the best investment ever.
Yeah, to be happy. That's very healthy and healing. Yeah, we all need to learn. Yeah.
Painting is absolutely healing. And because, then you're just, you put your reserves, and they're back and they're strong, and then you can help other people again.
Right. Sounds like good advice. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Sorry about that. Anybody who calls in, please stay on the line. And I think I put somebody on hold, and they thought I hung up on them. But call back, and we'll get you on right away.
Cool.
Yeah, I was trying to put them on hold, but yes, I'm getting a text from a friend who is, call back.
That's good. I mean, in reference to the last caller, it's like being an artist or having a creative outlet, let's say, it's hard to put that on a priority. It's usually in the luxury department. I'll get the have-to stuff done, and then I'll take care of my creative outlet. But that doesn't really work, right? It's like, because then there's that big nothing, and then you do your creative outlet, whatever that may be, and you're just much more prepared to deal with life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think creativity is becoming more valued. I think through
not in your average high school. Not in your average high school. It's like, how much money did they put in for the stadium? And the arts always get left last.
Yeah, I think that was was that a measure, like measure H or I or something that paid for that?
I don't know, but I can tell you that it's just usually not a priority, the arts, They're usually the first thing that gets cut off. Yeah.
Well, hopefully that caller calls back. And sorry, the phones are a little wonky here. We try to get you on.
That's all right. I mean, people, they will call back. If they're meant to. Honestly, I feel like I read who I'm supposed to read. So they're going to call back if that's kind of, when people have an opportunity to call in. I mean, come on, if you had an opportunity to call in somewhere for an answer and you didn't get through, you would try again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Don't give up, people.
Don't give up.
That's right.
We're not doing that today.
Yeah, and so I also have a website that is pretty new, and that is www.christinegormantarot.com.
Excellent.
It's got cool pics and, just a nice, it's my own website. We have the tarotarttattoo.com website, which is Shotzi and I and all the things that we do over at the Tarot Art Tattoo Gallery. But I felt like I needed my own little space because people get very confused. They're like tattoo, tarot, and it's like you just walk in the door. I know it's a beige building, but it's filled. It looks like a museum on the inside.
I haven't been in there. I drive by it a lot, and I think about going in. But so is it like a gallery, or is it more of a?
Yep, it's a gallery. It's like a museum. You know, most of the artwork in our shop is ours, except the antiques. And we sell artwork, right? This is part of how we make a living as artists.
Uh-huh.
And so it's filled with stuff. I mean, I have a couple pieces in San Francisco at a great place. It's called Ian James Made, and that's on Cortlandt Avenue. And so definitely go check out that place. That's super cool. So I also paint abstract paintings, and they often feature koi fish in them. And so that's kind of my other part. So I have the tarot art, and then I have the koi art, and then I have the readings. That's what I do.
That's awesome. I would love to go in and check it out. We do have another caller. Okay, caller, you are on the air. If you want to share your name, you can. If not, you can give us a fake name or not give us a name at all. So, but go ahead and ask Christine your question. They hung up. I think that person was like, wait a second, I don't want to be on the air. I didn't know that was happening.
That's funny. Well, it is a small town. It's getting bigger all the time, but people, they're sensitive about having their voices on the air. And if you are, you can always somebody back.
Yeah, let's see. If, hello, caller, you are on the air.
Hello.
Hello. If you want to give us your name, you can.
My name is Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. Do you have a question for me today? Do you have a question for me today?
I'm sorry, hold on. I can't hear you. I'm at work. I had a question. Now I forgot.
It'll come back to you. Okay, so I just threw 3 cards on your question that you forgot anyway. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. So it feels like there's something that you're pondering, but it's not the right place. And so, it's kind of one of those things where you don't necessarily want to get anybody angry about saying no or backing out or not being there. But I feel like you're more inclined to have some elbow room and some freedom. And so when pondering, kind of a more restrictive decision, it's like, it's totally okay to be like, ew, no, I don't want that.
Oh, that's crazy. That's exactly, yes.
So, I honestly feel like when you were a kid, it was all about the sun, and it was all about being outside, and it was just all about being free. And I think that you need to maintain that in your life to kind of maintain balance. And so that would kind of step all over that. And so balance for you is really, really important.
Yes, it is. Wow, this is amazing. I didn't even ask a question, and you put it right into the. I mean, you had it on point.
That's what I do. That's my day job.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling into the show.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That was so cute. All right. Thanks for calling in. Huh?
The cutest part was the laughing, like, oh my God. That was cute.
That was awesome. Yeah. Thank you for calling in. If you want to call in, 707-933-9133. Give us a call, and we're happy to have you on.
Thanks, Linda. That's right. And so, Shotzi and I like to say magic is our day job, And so when people are calling in, no, they don't need a question because I'm just going to throw cards, And when I'm doing private readings, I don't want to know anything about the person. I just, let me tell you what I see, and then you have plenty of time to ask me questions.
Excellent.
That's how it goes.
We have another caller.
Okay.
All right, caller, hi. You are on the air.
Hi, how are you, ladies?
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Do you have a
So
question?
I'm not gonna. Yes, I'm not gonna say my name, but so in the last couple of months, I've had a new boss, and I'm just having a really hard time with that transition. And in addition to that, I've been seeing a lot of repetition in numbers, like angel numbers, I guess you can say, to the point where it's like it's a little scary. So now I'm like, what does it all mean?
Okay, well, let's take the last question first.
Okay.
Is the universe, guides, ancestors, angels that kind of make sure that you know that they got your back, and that is the very baseline reason why you might see numbers on repeat. And so it's important to just kind of say, I'm being supported, and they're I'm not alone, that kind of thing. And that's what your takeaway needs to be, like, wow, okay, I'm, people, I say people, it's like, all these positive energies, they got my back. So let's see about this boss and transition. And I feel like, you're very emotional at work. And so I want you to really focus on putting your business hat on, because it feels quite erratic at work, and there's these stresses that this new boss might have. That's money, that's circumstances and situations. And I think that you are a very personal person, so everything is personal to you, which is, wonderful on one-on-one kind of interactions. But I really want you to put your business hat on, because I don't see this person lasting in this circumstance. But I don't also see you staying there long term, So I see that you choose other things as well. So it's really kind of like practice to say, putting my business hat on. That means that you kind of, it's not your circus, not your monkeys,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I've
really
been
kind of
talking to people about that, and they kind of say the same thing. It's like, well, you got to take your emotions out of it, but it's like, it's your second home. It's my second home almost, so it's hard.
Yes, but that's also, right, this is the interesting part about all of that, is when things are uncomfortable or unacceptable or you don't like it, it's not supposed to make you be silent and just push through. It's supposed to make you find a better situation. That's why those things come up. And so the fact that it's not satisfying says, keep your mouth shut, do your job really, really well, and find something awesome. This is how it goes. It's like sometimes you have to work through stuff, and, you just keep your business hat on. And people, when they interact with you, they can see your lovely personality, but it doesn't have to be all day long, all the time. You just kind of go, okay, you're on the work mode, and you work really hard, and then you work hard to find a better investment for yourself. Because don't think for a second that person also is not trying to find something better for themselves,
Yeah.
So it's, one of those things where you're like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be here forever. This isn't my, forever place. How can I help myself get to an environment that I'm not going to mind? What kind of environment do you want to be in? And then you start to think about the choices that you make. And it's like, that's right, I'm going to level up as opposed to be stuck in an uncomfortable or bad situation. And it just seems like it's just neglect, and it's just a difficult kind of way things are run. And it's like, the more and more you kind of, experience that, you're going to say, you know what, I really want, and then you're going to start to invest in that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you like flow, you like fun, you like positive energy, you like a positive environment. And it's like, as opposed to trying to stress yourself out to make that a positive environment, just find one that's already positive, and then, then you can contribute to that.
Okay. All right. That totally, that resonated with me, because it's true. There's days when I'm just like, I need to find what makes me happy, and, I know that my job does make me happy, but it's just, it has its moments, and I can't let it just take me and swallow me full, right? Like, I need to...
Yeah, but I think that we're so used to seeing things that are unsatisfying. These things come up, we're supposed to make circumstances better for ourselves. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
All right. Christine, we're going to take a break in about a minute. Do you want to tell everybody again where to find you and all that?
Yeah. Well, follow me on Instagram. I do daily live readings, and you can always see them on my IGTV or my Facebook. And that is Visionary Woman Tarot. You can find me there. You can also find me at the Tarot Art Tattoo Gallery on Highway 12. That is me there.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break. It's 4:40 right now, and this is only 1 hour show. So if you want to get your reading done, you need to just do it. Just make it happen. 707-933-9133. Let's take a break. All right, and we're back. It's 4:41. This is Linda Odetto, and I want to throw it out there that if just say you're too shy to call in and you really have a question to ask, you can email it to me, and I'll bring it to the next show when we have some downtime, when the callers aren't, when we're waiting for people to call in, we can maybe answer your questions. My email is Odetto, Odetto, Lodetto at ksvy.org. So go ahead and submit your questions, and next week we'll try and get them in, and maybe one of these days you'll feel confident enough to call and have a conversation with us, yeah, and with Christine, right. Yeah. So definitely give us a call, 707-933-9133. Christine.
Yes.
Talk to me.
All right. This is, I'm actually not in the studio. So this is the Visionary Woman Tarot radio show, and we have been going for over 7 years. I actually think it's almost 8 now, because even though we've been on kind of a COVID pause, that's a long time to do a show. And so, we're trying to get back a rhythm so I can get back into the studio. But until that time, Linda is super helping me out. And so I am Zooming into the studio, and, you guys can have access to me and my cards. So if you call 707-933-9133, you can ask me a question, and I will throw some cards for you. If you don't have a question, just say, hey, what do the cards say for me right now? And you know what? Everybody's got a message. I like to say everybody's got a message in their card catalog, and I'm the librarian. And so, you want to check in, check out, whatever, you just ask me. And the funny thing is that as cool as that sounds, it's like you totally date yourself, because kids are like, what's a card catalog?
Yeah.
The 70s and 80s happened, man.
Yeah, they did. I was there.
Yep. They were there.
70s and 80s were there.
Yeah, and you have card catalogs now, and they're antique accessories, right? You see them in shops and stuff like that. And people are like, aren't these cute? And it's I remember when these were actually a tool. A tool we used to use. Damn it.
Well,
so, yeah.
Cards are good. Cards are good. I'm all wrapped up in my headphones right now. So, let me ask you a question. Since we're waiting for a caller, please call in. I'd be happy to drop what I'm doing. Okay, so I have a friend, and I am worried that we are growing apart. So what do you think? What do you say about that?
Well, what happens is that you are in a pretty constant state of productivity. You're interested in things, and you're asking questions, and you're like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, let's go there, that kind of thing. And, that other person's just not like that. And so it's kind of they need to kind of find their level of satisfaction and joy and productivity, and that is their path. And it just seems like they've got a lot of stuff on their plate. And so it's not easy for them to compartmentalize, right, when things are difficult. And so I think that, when people when people start to really kind of say, okay, you know, they snap themselves out of it and they say, I'm going to invest in my environment, then you're the next phone call, you know? And so your responsibility in that respect is to say, hey, I'm here when you want me. I'm here when you need me. And to like know that, because that's all it is. It's just, man, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. That's I kind of felt that way as well. But sometimes I think it's like she just doesn't like me anymore. It's like sometimes you get that feeling.
Right, but that's all our own doubts.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have them. And it kind of sucks, but it's like friends come in waves sometimes. And, you know, and sometimes then you reconnect and it's like you kind of leave off exactly where you left off before and nothing really changes. And so that's what it feels like to me. So it doesn't really feel like an issue. And trust me, the cards would say, yeah, she doesn't like you anymore.
and I would take that. I would be like, okay.
Yeah, it's not about that. And, you know, especially right now, people are stressed on levels that on top of the levels they were already stressed at. And there's so many different circumstances happening all at once. And, you know, it feels like everything's speeding up too. And so even if we're just trying to manage our own space, we see our environment, our town is like changing circus ride. And you're like, okay, I want a timeout. I'd like to get off the ride now, please, so that I can manage my stuff. And, you know, you have some real crazies. Now, I say like crazies, but I don't think that, you know, Teddy Roosevelt having temper tantrums made people happy back in the day. Like, I always think there was some kind of megalomaniac, you know, with a lot of money throwing stuff around, you know, like, I don't know, things that weren't true, you know? So it's like, I think that's just happens. Men in power or people in power, let's say, they end up, you know, on their own little competitions, you know, like, you know, the Firestone and Ford. And if you have ever seen a documentary or read books on that, I mean, can you believe that this guy made an agreement to kind of dismantle the railroad system so that people would buy tires for cars? I mean, this actually happened, you know? So it's like all these things have happened throughout history, you know? So it's like, you know, it's like crack a book, right?
Crack open a book.
Kind of know your history. And these things have happened before, but I think the most fascinating part about now is that as much as information is spread so fast, so is misinformation.
Yes.
And there's a ton of it. And so it's like, wow, okay. I mean, it's all, you know, what's not the spin, and that's really hard. And so when you talk about everybody's personal life, it's like, well, we're managing just our own sanities, our own centeredness, our families. And then you kind of go out to communities, and that could be in flux or transition, you know, and then you forget it. You start talking about government, and, you know, there were people that actually stormed the Capitol on January 6th. It's like, what? You know? So it's kind of that.
Yeah. I think no time in history has the world been able to communicate with one another with this level of freedom of speech. And I think we're all like reeling from it.
No, it's just the speed is different, you know, and everything's fast, whether it's true or not. So, you know, when you talk about, getting a crowd of people to believe what you're saying, again, like what I was saying before, consistency is like really key. Ideally, it's going to be based in truth, right? But that's not the case with history. It's like, you know, you got a good spin, get enough people, you know, there's a lot of, you know, human nature is definitely strange and crazy, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
You know,
it's easy to manipulate a mass population. It's hard to manipulate a single person.
Well, I mean, you know, you talk about, well, let's all get well informed. Like that would be great, you know, have a standard of facts, right? That would be awesome. You see that more of the city populations seem to be, well informed, but there's always a percentage of people that just want to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like family dynamics. It's like a wicked dysfunctional family.
Right. And we're all, all a big giant family.
Yeah. But you can have a handful of kids in the same family with the same parents, and everybody has a different point of view. Because their nature is different, and how they handle things is different. So humans are like the experiment that is like, it's the dark comedy often.
I just feel like we're in a space in humanity that is like very sophomoric right now, and we're all
that was on purpose. That the dumbing down of the masses was completely a conscious and on purpose thing. And you have your billionaire classes that are like racing to the space, whatever. I mean, just feed people. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that are getting chased down by horses because they're leaving their, very dangerous and awful circumstance. It's really scary. But, that's been going on for always. That's human nature. There's a really dark spot in human nature. But, just to say it's unacceptable is good, but let's maintain that,
When I see things like that we've seen at the border of Texas recently, when I see things like that, it solidifies my belief that borders aren't there to keep people out, they're to keep people in. And when people try to go to a different country, they're sent back to their cage that they're supposed to stay in. And but that's my opinion. But I when I see that stuff going on, it just makes me see it more clearly in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, it's truth. This is, people say, oh, that's not who we are. Well, actually, that is very much who we are. That actually happened. It's like when people show you who they are, believe them. Maya Angelou.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have 8 minutes left. Really 5. So if you want to call in, 707-933-9133. Please call in and ask us a question. It can be about anything at all. It could be about your dogs.
That's right. I have gotten such questions. People have called in and asked about their bunny or their turtle, stuff like that. But if you're curious about whatever it is that I do, you can always find me on Instagram at Visionary Woman Tarot, also on Facebook. And I try to have these daily live readings just to kind of help people get through. We all need a little assistance, a little perspective. And if you're able to get perspective in your day, as much as it could be the most stressful day ever, that really helps, So it's like, all right, just sharing a little bit of pixie dust here and there to try to I call it good work. That's what I do.
You're really good. You are on point. Like the caller earlier, Joanne, earlier said, she was just like, you're on point. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And while you were reading her, I could actually kind of feel that, the truth of it, which was really cool when I sit here and listen.
That's another fun thing about human nature. So many struggles are universal, or you can relate to it. And it's really helpful to kind of say, oh, I can have another perspective of that, or I can look at that from an aerial view and in an impartial way and really help myself, because we all have to pretend sometimes. But what if it was your friend that was asking this question? What would you say to them? And you kind of get out of your own head about it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that would be a very practical, assessment or a practical application to, untie knots. And that's kind of what we do in life, is like, we're supposed to untie the knots as opposed to create more. Mm-hmm. And, it's not a race. It's just, you do it when you can. But I think that, the only thing that we really take with us in this life when we leave it is the grace that we cultivate every day. And that is just really what I feel is important. And it kind of brings down inflammation of all kinds.
All right. Well, we have a caller, our last caller of the day, probably. So, hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hi. Thank you for answering my call.
All right. Thanks for calling.
I was looking to get some information about, I traveling and money, and I'm trying to get, figure out finances because I love to travel, and I'm hoping traveling's in my future, but I don't know. And
okay, so you really are good at planning travel, right? And so I see you're not afraid of hard work. I see you're not afraid to like chip away at things, but I also feel like, having a big jar in your room and just constantly put all your quarters in there, this is for your, your fun to kind of go away. I do see travel always. Like you just kind of schedule it in. It's really marvelous. But at the same time, it's kind of like as you get older, the more planned you are about it, the more abundant it's going to be, right? Because I feel like sometimes you just don't like to be alone. And so you kind of like want to rush out and kind of be with everybody. But at the same time, if you budget that a bit and put your money in the right place, then you get to kind of do the things that you want to do. And so really what that all means is that you're not afraid of making money. You can make money. But what that means is that the alone time, try to find constructive things that you can like enjoy being by yourself,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, it'll be easier kind of as you get older, but I want you to really figure out a creative outlet for yourself so you can enjoy that time more. And then that will help you save money because then you'll be putting your money away for the actual trip.
Well, that's good because I do have sometimes a hard time budgeting for those bigger trips that I like to take. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of quarters, you get one of those big apple cider jars. Quarters can really add up.
Yes, that's very true.
So you just kind of start there, and there's other ways for you to do it. But I feel like you have the right mindset, so you're good. Just have to kind of be cool being alone.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this insight, and I'm so glad I was able to get through.
I'm glad you called too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you for calling. It's time to say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for helping me out, Linda.
Yeah. Let's, please email me any questions. If you're too, nervous to call online, we're happy to take those. LODETTO@ksvy.org. That's LODETTO@ksvy.org. Definitely send me the emails. And then on next Monday from 4 to 5, when we have some downtime between callers, we'll answer as many questions as we can get in.
Woo! Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. Well, again, I know we've said it a whole bunch of times already, but tell us where to find you because people tune in late, and we want everybody to know.
The easiest way to find me is Instagram on Visionary Woman Tarot or Facebook. You can always call my shop too. That's 707-938-3000.
All right. This is Visionary Woman Tarot, 4 to 5 o'clock every Monday. Get ready and with your questions and call in next Monday, and we're happy to take you in and give you some good tarot readings. So, Christine's amazing, and like I said, I can feel it. I can feel it just sitting in the studio, and she's on the phone in her car right now, and I can feel the energy. So, definitely give it a try next Monday. And
bye,
thanks a lot. Bye, Christine.
Bye. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks. Bye. All right. Have a good afternoon.